The science of politics is one that UOG Administrator Ron McNinch knows all too well. As a part of the university's Public Administration and Legal Studies Department, McNinch has been analyzing Guam's elections for years. We caught up with McNinch to pick his brain about the makeup of this year's election.
This year's election is really neat.
Starting off with the legislative branch.
On the legislative side, a whole bunch of senators aren't running anymore, and this virtually ensures all of the remaining incumbents, last man standing, they're all going to get reelected, all else equal, because they're really set in neat positions, because they're incumbents, and there's a whole bunch of open spots.
Their only cause for challenge, however, is if former senators decide to run as well, which we know they are.
Former senators are very well positioned already.
Moving over to the gubernatorial race.
So far, there's only one Republican candidate. And the Republican candidate is Ray Tenorio. He's very well positioned. He has a really good positioning because he's the sitting lieutenant governor. So he's a kind of sort of incumbent.
Due to him standing unopposed, Tenorio will be able to coast through primaries, according to McNinch. However, for the Democrats,
we have these four vying factions that are really they're going to have to do a lot of maneuvering between and among the Democrats to try to show up as number one.
And anything can happen while it's still early. And these dynamics are what makes this year's governor's race exciting. And as for Guam's congressional delegate,
right now the Republican side's a little bit unclear. There's no telling who's going to run for the Republican side. We kind of sort of have an idea, but we're not clear. And then, of course, Madeline Berdallo, who's very loved by the people. I mean, in a deep imbued sort of way. She's very well positioned as an incumbent. And then Mike St. Nicholas, who is running what I would generally term, and we call this in politics, a young Turk approach. And young Turks basically refer to younger politicians or younger candidates who have new ideas, and their approach is a little bit different. And they're viewed as quite different than the incumbent candidates.
With so many candidates with varying views potentially joining the race, this year's ballot will prove to be interesting. And as we witnessed in the recent presidential election, prior political experience isn't necessarily needed to come out successful.
It's a game, and by a game, it means we have competing forces, we have winners and losers, we have people who are really, they feel very strongly, they feel very emotional. And we have the public sometimes who feel very strongly and feel very emotional, and it makes for it's really our Super Bowl. Every 4 years we have our political Super Bowl, and it's the governor's race and it's the 4-year cycle race.
In the meantime, we'll just have to see whose strategy leaves them victorious in this political game. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Kehani Mendiola.